I also would love to know how you feel about the fact that 2 out of 3 people on death row are black men.
Wow, Hannah. Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you for enlightening me about how things are tougher for minorities. Thank you.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
I am.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boys Watching Girls. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And today we are talking about Season 2, Episode 2 of Girls. This episode is titled, I Get Ideas.
Yeah, and you teased in the last episode that this one didn't do too well.
No, it did not. It is directed by Lena Dunham, written by Jenny Connor. Original air date, January 20th, 2013. Big drop off in viewers. Okay. This is the lowest viewer count I think they've had. It is 0.572 million viewers. So 500,000 people, a little over 500,000 people watch this episode.
Wow.
Big drop. Like 300,000 people didn't watch this episode from last week.
Yeah, I don't know how these numbers work, but yeah, that's interesting.
Again, we have this talk every time. I wonder if there was like on demand that people could watch it later and that doesn't count or doesn't whatever.
It has to be kind of like a replay value.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I just don't see how you don't show up to watch the next one. But,
yeah, I don't understand what happened that makes people like, I don't know, maybe it was like January 20th. There's no holiday or anything. Maybe they just thought that this show sucks. 300,000 people just dropped out.
Watch the next episode, just pick up and be like 1.2 million.
It'd be insane, more than double their fucking viewership.
Well, it does leave with the interesting little cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's true.
A little cliffhanger.
Initial thoughts watching this episode, what do you think?
My initial thoughts is I enjoyed watching Donald Glover go through this episode and interact with people.
Yeah.
I thought he really shined.
Yeah.
And, like, you can see, like, this is before his, like, big breakout and stuff, but you could see the, like, talent right there.
The seeds.
Yeah. Overall, it's just, things are moving, but, man, it's a big Hannah episode, and, like, Hannah's such a mess.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it just me, or does this feel longer than a half hour? It feels like there's so much going on.
That one felt like, I was like, wow. Like, at one point we stopped to, like, check something out, and then it was like, boy, there's 8 more minutes left in this. I was like, it's a very densely packed show.
Yeah, this episode is, like, jam-packed with so much stuff.
Yeah.
It felt like a mini movie to me.
And some stuff that I thought was going to happen, they don't even really get to.
Yeah.
Which is the little secret between Elijah and Marnie.
Which, comes into play a little bit, but their interaction is funny to me. But, yeah.
Yeah, let's just dive into this thing.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, this is, like you said, a very Hannah-heavy episode, so we can get through a lot of the other characters before we get to Hannah, the main event.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the likability rankings at the end.
I already have an idea of where I'm ranking these people.
All right, should we?
But let's start with the opening scene real quick, which is Elijah and George in their room.
Yeah.
And I noticed this episode. George looks like a poor man's Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Like, that's the vibe. I was like, what is that? He looks like...
He's somebody. He looks familiar. I don't know who he is, but I feel like he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know his name offhand.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But they're in. The episode opens interestingly, not on any of the girls or anything, and it opens on Elijah arguing with George about he confessed that he had slept with Marnie.
Yeah,
and George cannot handle. Like he's like, the age difference and this, and you don't know if you're bi or not. Like this is too much for me.
Yeah,
like I'm out of here. And he's like, I can't even believe what Hannah's gonna think of it. And he's like, Elijah's like, I'm not telling Hannah. And George's like, just rolls his eyes and just gets out of there.
I think Elijah's argument of like, it was like 3 pumps, and then I lost my boner.
Yeah.
I feel like that is...
I thought it was interesting that he decided to tell George.
Yeah.
I thought he would probably not tell it and it might get spilled.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been one of those situations where like that shit goes to the grave.
It's interesting to have George like introduce the end of season 1, come in for like an episode, and then like he might just be out of the picture again.
I want to ask you, because Elijah keeps saying that he fucked Marnie. He's like, I fucked Marnie. Do you consider what happened between them him fucking Marnie?
It's enough to constitute like, yeah, it's enough to constitute cheating on that thing.
I
like,
can see that, yeah.
Yeah, because like if you were like caught making out, like Tristan Thompson when he was caught making out and getting groped in that like nightclub,
yeah,
like maybe he didn't go home and fuck any of those girls, but yeah, like that's cheating. Like so.
See, I agree with you that it is cheating.
Yeah.
But if I had done what Elijah had done to a girl, I wouldn't be like, I fucked that girl.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you can't claim that you fucked that person.
I would see that as like if like a bunch of guys are talking and like doing number counts or something like that.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're like,
half.
nah, you can't really count that one. But I think in his situation, he's saying it as like, dude, I'm supposed to be like fully gay, and like now I did this, and like, all right.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised he even like went as far as to say like what he did. I'm surprised he didn't just kind of like lighten a blow to George and be like, oh, I kind of hooked up with her. You know, do that like generic hookup.
Yeah, hookup.
Hookup complies.
There
so
needs to
many
be,
things.
right, dude.
Yeah.
Hookup.
It's great.
See, I feel like this is my definition of hookup. Hookup is anything after makeout, but before sex. So everything in between there is hookup, and then if you just made out, you just made out. If you had sex, you had sex. But everything in between is hookup. That's my definition.
So if you said you hooked up with someone, you did everything but sleep with them.
Yeah.
And it's implied that you made out with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who just fucking
just go in,
just
like no,
raw,
just straight in. Like
I just fucking fingered her, no kissing. Like what?
Yeah.
No, who does that? Fucking creepy weirdos.
That's that movie theater move.
I did know a guy in New York who was a comic, and his move was, and he did this with a lot of women. He hooked up with a lot of female comics, and he would make out with them once, and then he would be like, we're never making out again, but we will be hooking up. So he would have sex with them, do all the other stuff.
You just ruined your whole hooking up thing. Your logic of hooking up is that.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But no. But he would have sex with and hook up with women.
Okay. It just makes it so
and
complicated.
never kiss them after the first time he kissed them because he thought kissing was gross. And people loved this guy. And they were like, oh yeah, he's such a charming guy. And like they would hook up with him, hook up and have sex with him several times. And I was like, why? That's such a weird guy.
Well, I mean, he thinks, you know what? This is, we're on a tangent right now.
Yeah.
But I had a friend who had an ex, and she wasn't into, like, making out. She thought making out was gross.
Huh.
And I don't know exactly, like, what the makeout level was when they, or, like, how the kissing was when they were, like, together, you know? Because
maybe the guy was just a bad kisser.
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think... So because other he's married now and he has dated other women, so it's not like wouldn't you just dump someone if they were a bad kisser? Would you date them for months after
Dude,
that?
I kissed a girl recently who no tongue, just face mushing, and I was like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you like go into a full-on relationship, move in with someone? I think she just genuinely didn't like kissing, which is, you know,
interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, George and Elijah,
they're
break
Splitsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I started having a separate like Elijah page.
I started with Elijah page when he had the opener, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
He's now an integral. He's a girl.
Yeah.
He's one of the girls.
And he's a great addition to this.
Yeah, he's great. I love Andrew Reynolds, dude.
I did not think he'd be in the show, but there he is.
He was great in Book of Mormon.
No,
he was in the original cast.
I saw the second run or the third run, so I didn't see.
Yeah. Anyway, so who do you want to start with? Who are we starting with?
Let's go with Marnie and see if we can go through Marnie stuff and kind of tie in with Shoshana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Marnie, her story starts off. She's at a job interview at it looks like another kind of art place, and you know, typical interview stuff where she's like, "Oh, you're from Montclair, New Jersey," and then that little small talk bullshit.
Yeah.
Where she's like, "Oh yeah, we have all this stuff going on," and then an assistant brings the boss woman who is interviewing Marnie a cup of tea, and the boss just all of her niceties fly out the window, and she's like, "No, this is too strong. How do we make the tea? You go in with the hot water, in with the packet, out with the packet."
And she's showing her, like,
packet.
miming it with her hand.
Yeah. And she's like, "Take it away from me. This is too strong. I don't want it. And bring me juice number 5 from the fridge." And it was like, oh, boys, this is so, like, the shit that you will put up with to get a job when you don't have one and you're desperate.
I was wondering if this was going to be Marnie's first moment of being like, "Yay, Marnie," where she was going to be like, "You know what? I don't think I want to work here."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be a point where she's like, "I don't want to deal with another boss like this."
Yeah, no.
Nope. She's still going.
She's like, "Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's interesting."
Yep.
And then the boss brings up that she worked with Reese,
Her last
boss, and she's like, "Oh, she's made such unfortunate life decisions," and Marnie's just throws her under the bus. She's like, "Yeah, she did. What a fuck up, right?"
Yeah.
Trying to get on this lady's good side. And then the boss is just kind of like, "Okay, here's the thing. I could offer you a front desk position." And Marnie's like, "That's great.
Yeah.
I would love that."
Again, right when she says that, I'm thinking Marnie's going to be like, "I was really looking forward to something."
Yeah, I was looking for something more substantial.
Yeah.
So the boss is like, "I could offer you it, but I won't." And Marnie's like, "What?" She's like, "I just don't see you in the art world." And Marnie's like, "Where do you see me?" And she's like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even really think that I'm just not in the art world."
Yeah, and the boss calls out her outfit, and she's like, "Where do you even get a suit like that?" And she's like, "Ann Taylor." And we're 2 guys, so we don't really know. Like,
yeah, is Ann Taylor like?
I know of Ann Taylor.
End?
I think Ann Taylor's just kind of like
the bland lady.
Yeah, I feel like it's like fine.
Yeah,
but it's not like for the art worlds. I don't know. I think it's like someone her age trying to be more adult.
Was she
go at it. Like, you wouldn't be? I don't know if you would shop at Ann Taylor at like 25.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
When she said that, like, where do you even get a suit like that? Was that a put down, or was it like
a compliment? Like, it's
I didn't know
because
it
it kind of
was a
happens a little later with Hannah, where Thomas John is like, what is that thing that you're wearing? And she's like, because Hannah like makes her own clothes.
Yeah,
which is real. This is a real fashion episode for Hannah, which we'll get into.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad fashion in this episode. A lot of bad fashion.
But another thing that happened at that interview with Marnie is like the boss is like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and that keeps coming up. That everyone keeps telling Marnie that she's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Well, she is.
She's pretty. But it's interesting how people are just like telling that to her.
Yeah, they're honing in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I always find interesting because you're saying that to Marnie, the character, but you're also saying that to the actress.
Yeah. Allison Williams? I think it's Allison? Yo, she's Marnie now, dude. Remember the first episode of this podcast?
Well,
I just kept calling her by her real name?
Yeah.
And now I don't remember her real name. Now it's Marnie.
I stared at you so blankly when you said Allison Williams. I was like, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope, she's Marnie now.
Yeah.
The chick from Get Out. So, we're going to tie in Shoshana here because this is the only scene that Shoshana is in. Our girl is getting no love.
But she's getting some love.
She's getting some love. All right. So we go to Shoshana's apartment, and she's in bed with Ray, and they're just like making the cutest small talk about camp, and they're just getting along and painting pigs or petting pigs or whatever.
They're like in that post-coital in bed, like just facing each other, like all smiles and happy.
Basking in the glow.
Yeah.
They're both in their underwear, and Marnie bursts in, and she's just like, "Ugh. Why are people here? I'm having a bad day."
I hate seeing other people's happiness when my life is falling apart.
Yeah, what a trash ass.
What we got from this scene is that she's still living with Shoshana.
Yep.
I
didn't know that. Does she have her own room? It doesn't look like it.
She came out of another room, and I was like, wait, is I don't know the layout of that apartment.
Me neither.
At all.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I think it might be one room.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it like a dorm?
I don't know, because remember when Shoshana saw Jessa getting banged out the window?
Uh-huh.
And she just didn't know where to go? Was she in Jessa's room, or is there just one free-for-all room?
I don't know, man. I feel like every time they show Shoshana's room, it's a different room. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
Every single time. Because remember when Jessa was, like, rearranging the furniture? That seemed like a different room. When Jessa was getting banged by her ex-boyfriend, that seemed like a different room.
Yeah, because she came, because Catherine Hahn came right in the front door and was, like, in the, like, room. I don't know the layout of this place at all.
But Marnie is, like, doing her earrings. It's like Ray and Shoshana are in their underwear. Like,
they're under the covers, but they're definitely, like, dressed down. Like, they're definitely not. Like, and she just walks in there all casual, like she's Hannah walking into a room.
Yeah, like they have this great rapport, like her and Ray. And, but they don't. Ray hates her.
And Ray has some great lines on this.
Oh yeah, Ray.
Just
the little screen time that Ray has, he really makes it.
Oh my god.
But Marnie's like doing her hair, and she's like, "Ugh, I don't even know. My job doesn't exist anymore. Like, apparently being an art curator doesn't exist anymore."
And Ray says, "The world has the 3 curators it already needs," which is just perfect.
And she's basically complaining, like, "What skills do I have? I don't have anything. I don't have any assets. I don't bring anything to the table." Yeah. And Shoshana's like, "Yeah, you do. You have a bachelor's degree." Which means nothing, you know? Fucking bachelor's degrees are worthless these days.
Bachelor's degree puts you on a podcast where you talk about
exactly,
shit like girls.
Dude, exactly. And then, God. And then Shoshana starts talking about, I was like, I mean, you can get like a pretty person job. Like, you're really pretty. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't know. I mean, I always thought about modeling, but I didn't think. And then they're both like, oh, no. You can't model. No.
Like Ray and Shoshana are like, yeah, you're pretty. Like, and she's like, oh, thanks. Like, I don't think I'd be a model. And they're like, no, you can't be a model.
Yeah. They like, immediately like, no. You know, we're not that pretty.
You're not model
pretty. But you're not pretty.
And I love that Ray says, like, no, you're attractive. Like, I'm not attracted to you because I know you.
Yeah. But, like, I can see how people think that you're attractive. It's like,
so
nice,
funny.
Ray, dude. Nice.
And his little screen time, getting some nice jokes in there.
Dude.
Well-written jokes. I love that. The delivery, great.
But, so then Shoshana's like, no, you could be, like, a hostess at a club. Yeah. Like, I know people that do that. And you could totally do that. My friend does that, makes like $1 bajillion. Yeah. And she always has the best wardrobe. And I'm going to call her right now. And I'm going to get you the number. And Marnie's like, no. And Shoshana's like already on the phone.
Yeah.
And dude, the phone greeting
is so good.
So fantastic. Shoshana calls her and she's like, hey, how you doing? I'm fantastic.
He's like, hi, Shosh. Like,
hi, it's Shosh. How are you? I'm fantastic.
Yeah, she's a ball of delightful energy sometimes.
Yeah, dude. Man. She's a ray of sunshine in this bleak girl's world. So
yeah, that's kind of where we leave off there before we start going into like Hannah's story.
Later in the episode, Marnie shows up at Hannah's apartment and Elijah answers the door. And he's like, what are you doing here? You're not here to tell Hannah something that you shouldn't, are you? And Marnie's like, no, but like, why shouldn't I? And he's like, because it'll hurt her feelings. She's a thin-skinned little baby.
Yeah, and he's like, she'll all be like, why doesn't he find me attractive enough to sleep with? And I was like,
that is the most true thing.
I was like, oh my God. Because you mentioned last episode that you couldn't wait for her to find out.
Yeah, I thought that Hannah was going to walk in and just be like, start puking everywhere.
I would have loved that. That would have been amazing.
Just projectile vomits.
I find that where people just randomly start puking funny, and I find like people getting tackled off screen. I love that stuff. Like those things.
Those little sight gags.
Yeah, and just like a dummy being thrown off a roof. Dummy. Those are my 3 like lowbrow. I love it no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Marnie's like, fine, I won't tell her. And then she's wearing like a white button down with suspenders and like these red shorts and fucking, I wrote down what, Elijah says, "What are you wearing?" She's like, "It's my work uniform." And he goes, "You look like a slutty Van Trapp child."
Yes.
And I was like, "Yes, dude."
Great.
And
I
it was
love
true.
I do love their banter.
Their
like,
banter is so good.
like they just go back because no one else had that with Marnie where they could like because Hannah could never like match like she can match wits with her, but she's still gonna be Hannah.
Yeah.
So it's like not as fun. But like Elijah is like a Marnie type, so like when they go at it, they feel like they're on the same level going at it.
Yeah, they're both sass masters. I will say, I know that uniform, they said it looked like a slutty Von Trapp. Okay, also she has a button-up buttoned all the way to the top. What was slutty about that outfit? I don't understand what was so slutty.
But it was
about
like, so, wasn't something kind of open and the shorts were high?
The shorts were high,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. She had suspenders on, and she had a button-up buttoned all the way to the top. I don't know what was slutty about that. In fact, I think that this is the best look that Marnie has had on the show. She looked so hot in that outfit to me.
You don't think the pressed sweats?
I mean,
with no
she looked
makeup
really
look?
good in the sweats and no makeup, the quote-unquote no makeup.
Yeah.
But everything else that I've ever seen her in, it's just like, she looks like she's running for office or something.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. I think that was the reference with
The
the Ann
uptight.
Taylor and the uptight.
Yeah,
like,
I guess that's
everyone
true.
always called her out on her clothes like that.
Yeah.
And like Hannah's the complete opposite extreme of that.
Trash monster, dude. Her outfits in this episode are awful. This is Fashion Joe's corner. Fucking her outfits.
Well, we'll get to her outfits.
Show
in a
are
minute.
so bad, dude. So bad.
We'll get to this because it's interesting. I have my thoughts on it.
I feel at this point we should hop off of Marnie's story because it becomes integral to Hannah's story
Yeah,
when Hannah shows up.
I feel like there was something I wanted to touch on in this moment. The look. The look Elijah gives.
Yes, when Hannah shows up into the apartment and Elijah's like about to leave and he's like, "All right, I'm leaving." And then he gives Marnie the most "don't you fucking say a word about us having sex for 3 seconds" look on his face. Was just like, it was so perfect.
It was terrifying.
It
was such a threat.
It was perfect, dude.
Yeah.
It was there's some really great moments in that show, and that moment is a perfect moment in this show.
Oh, yeah. It was so great. I couldn't stop laughing.
That look was so great. Andrew Rannells is killing this role as Elijah.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Great in Book of Mormon. Great in Girls.
We're boys watching girls. We're gonna praise all the boys.
I know.
No, the girls are good. The girls are good.
girls are
the
good.
girls hold. The girls are are the glue that
It's
hold it
weird
together.
to me because it seems like they're writing the men to be more likable and funny and
I felt the same way because I watch New Girl, and New
Oh,
Girl has
yes.
this thing where like
Zooey Deschanel's the worst part of that show.
but she actually kind of holds it because they can't do what they do without her being what she is in that role, and also what's the other
the one with the bangs.
yeah
I don't know.
CC
CC, yeah.
CC, and then later they bring Nassim Pedrad. She's dating Winston's character. She's from SNL.
Oh, the cop.
The cop, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they end up adding
That's a
nice
great show. We
diversity.
should do that show next.
Yeah, that show's fun.
Boys
But
watching New Girls.
if there's girls in the title, we've done a podcast about it. Yeah, that show, like, the guys are written so funny and like they're all entertaining and stuff. And but it's still a show about the women and about Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
And I feel like this show has done that too, where these guys are like entertaining and like Charlie's kind of out of the picture. Like, we don't see Charlie actually.
Yeah, Charlie's
That's
not
an
in this
interesting one, 'cause
episode.
the
Not
last-
even mentioned, not referenced
The last
at all.
episode ended with Marnie going over to this place and like sleeping over.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
Dude, these dangling plot lines.
yeah, that's
they're
why
just-
I'm like, I don't know if we're even gonna have. I didn't even know if they were even gonna talk to Jessa about the marriage, and the wedding, which we should get to now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was like, oh, I guess Charlie just that didn't matter last episode. Like, they don't carry over sequentially in episode to episode. Like, Charlie will definitely come up next episode or two down the line. But
Yeah.
you're never watching an end of an episode and being like, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, you are, but then you know that it's not going to get answered.
And to a testament of the show, we almost forgot about that.
That's true. Yeah, I did forget about Charlie sleeping over.
Till I went on my little rant about new girl.
You know, we're 25 minutes into this episode, and we're like, oh, wait, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie, main part of Marnie's storyline. But she's got the hostess job. When she shows up, we know she's got the hostess job.
She's got the new hostess job. She's making $400 a day, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'll quit my job to do that.
And do we want to talk about we can talk about the Marnie Hannah talking at this point. Because I don't think it ties in with anything.
You don't think it does?
We can just talk about the point that
let's just talk about the whole thing.
They just talk about the point that that she tells Hannah that she's a hostess, and Hannah looks at her like oh,
why?
A hostess.
That seems like a step down kind of language.
Just the way she said, oh, a hostess.
Yeah.
And it made me think about that first episode when Ray was talking to Hannah about getting a job in fast food. And how she was like, I'm not going to get a fast food job. Yeah. And like, meanwhile, Marnie's got a job that she claims pays her $400 a day, which is a lot.
That's a fuckload of money.
Which is a lot back then. Like,
dude, you could work 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And that's rent.
Yeah.
In 1 week, and that's 4 days.
Yeah, and it's like that's a good for 2012 being a hostess. That's
insane. But it's like, some kind of club.
Yeah,
and
but I mean,
Hannah makes it seem like it's some kind of like rich white guy, elitist club where they're just paying you because you're pretty or whatever.
Well, this is where we get the term "pretty person job" being referred to again by Hannah. She's like, "Oh, what? You don't think I can get a pretty person job?"
And Marnie's like, what? No, I think you're beautiful.
And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
and every scene we've seen you outside of that, you don't think she's pretty.
Hannah could definitely not get a pretty person job. But fucking Marnie with a great save, she's like, your disposition is not right for this. Which is
true.
So true.
Yeah.
You have to be like engaging and like, oh, hi, hey, how are you?
The whole time.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be smiling and all this shit.
It hurts.
And Hannah definitely could not do that.
And Hannah was like, oh, I'm working at Grumpy's making $40 a day, but I'm not using my sexuality to get more. She's
like, it's clean money. I'm not blah, blah, blah.
And while she's saying all this, I got to get your comment on this. She's eating Cool Whip out of the tub with a spoon.
Yeah.
That
does not surprise me. That didn't bother me. That didn't bother me. Because she's got a spoon. It's not like dangling out of her mouth like every other thing that she eats.
And you've been a Cool Whip out of the tub with a spoon person?
No, I don't really know. I don't know if I've ever had Cool Whip. What is it?
Just hard whippets. Cool Whip. It's
whipped cream.
It's the thing that like the whipped cream you put on.
Oh,
top
I've only had it like.
Yeah.
I've only done that.
Yeah.
I've never had it just like in a tub.
Yeah. Well, she's buying it like economy. It's not economy size.
Yeah, that was weird. But
go to Costco.
Cool Whip, actually very low calorie, very good for you.
It's mostly air.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So that didn't bother me.
Little plug for Cool Whip here.
Yeah, Cool Whip, sponsor of Boys Watching Girls.
Flavored air.
Official sponsor of Boys Watching Girls, Cool Whip. It's the whippiest.
Cool Whip.
So yeah, basically Marnie was like, no, you're just not right for it. The context is like, no, there's no way you could get one of those jobs. And Hannah's like, I could get a pretty person job. Lots of people find me attractive. Black men, Republicans, et al. And Marty's like, et al.
and that, like, that kind of ties in a little bit with what happened with Hannah in this story. But,
yeah.
Let's jump to Jessa, and then we'll finish off with Hannah.
Yeah, Jessa's not pissing me off as much as she used to. Since she got married, she's not pissing me off.
No, yeah, she's not. Yeah, she's not been in it much.
I was gonna say her stories just seem like separate and not really involved.
They always felt like that.
But like now, even more so. Like she's not hanging out with them.
What about her babysitter job stuff? That was like all her own world stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Her ex-boyfriend that came in that she got, like, all of her stuff has like been so loosely tied.
All right. Well,
so should we go to Hannah and then get into Shoshana when into Jessa when it shows up? Because it does tie into what happens a little bit.
Yeah, Jessa's got a little side quest, but...
let's go. Let's just do Hannah.
Yeah, let's do Hannah
and loop into Jessa.
Yeah, we're going to be going off on Hannah's story, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
So, the first time we see Hannah, she is doing... She's doing like a YouTube choreography dance workout while Elijah's getting dumped by George.
She has headphones on, right?
I think she just has it loud enough so that she can't really hear what George and Elijah are talking about.
Which seems like she would obviously want to be hearing.
Right?
And we know that those walls are thin.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But, because you could hear Adam and her fucking very clearly in Marnie's room.
You didn't even have that through the wall muffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like Marnie's bed wasn't even against the wall where...
It was on the opposite wall.
Yeah, it was on the opposite wall. I don't know. There's no consistency in this bullshit. So Hannah's doing some kind of weird jump dance choreography while Elijah's getting dumped. And then, then the next time we see her, she is, it looks like she's wearing just a giant sleeping bag.
I called it. I was like, is she wearing a part? So this is where we see her in bed with Elijah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her and Elijah are watching a video that I thought it was a YouTube video, but it's a video that was emailed to her.
From Adam.
From Adam, and it's him just sad guitar playing.
Yeah, he's like strumming one chord and then just like fitting in a bunch of lyrics that are just sad, like waiting outside, brain.
Yeah, like it just heartbreak.
Yeah,
Heartbreak
so
City. It's just
sad.
like so sad and so like grainy, and she's
Over
watching,
the top sad.
and Elijah's watching it like, does he like kill himself at the end of
Yeah,
this?
that was so funny.
And she's like, I don't know, I haven't been able to make it to the end.
Yeah, and then Elijah just like slams the computer and he's like, I don't want to watch any more of that. And he's like, well, she's like, well, now I have room to open myself up to a not psycho boyfriend that treats me well and blah, blah, blah. And then Elijah goes, yeah, but he's a Republican. Which I didn't know that he was the black college lawyer, Donald Glover.
The black college lawyer,
is a Republican.
AKA Sandy is a Republican.
Just out of nowhere. Yeah, but he's a Republican.
Hey, man, it was what is this, 2013 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exposition.
Yeah.
Line. Yeah, but he's a Republican. Where did that come from? I had no idea he was a Republican. I just thought he was a black college lawyer.
They're making commentary on the political scene of the time.
According to Wikipedia, just a black college lawyer.
But yeah, they close the video, and then Elijah's talking about like, oh, and I can't believe this. Now I broke up with George, and Hannah's like, yeah, I don't know what happened between you and George to make the break. And he like wants to get off the subject.
Yeah, he like sidesteps so
and he's
hard.
Like, oh yeah, I don't think Adam's gonna kill you because they've been talking about if Adam's going. Adam has a killer vibe, but I don't know if he'd actually murder someone.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't think that he'd kill you. And then she's like, do you think it's because he doesn't love me enough? Am I not lovable enough to be murdered?
Yeah.
And Elijah's just
which happened earlier, which Elijah later when he's talking to Marnie about being thin-skinned, he's like, if she found out about this, it would be a whole nother...
All I could focus on in this scene is that fucking awful...
She looked like she was wearing a parka because it had a hood to it.
Yeah, but
it
like was yellow pants too,
and it like zipped up, and I thought she was wearing like a full body snowsuit.
Yeah. It looked like it zipped up on the sides.
Yeah, but then when at one point she like lies down on the bed and you see it in full, I'm like, is she just in a sleeping bag? Did she knit a sleeping bag with a hood on it? Like,
I don't know.
It was interesting. It looked warm and comfortable.
It looked like what Maggie Simpson was wearing, like when they're out in the snow on The Simpsons.
Exactly.
And then Elijah like is rubbing her. He's like, "Wait, are you wearing a diaper?"
And I was like, "What is happening?
Is she wearing a diaper?" That didn't get answered. Why would she be wearing a diaper?
If it's not a diaper, what is it?
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. This show is wacky. This show gets wacky.
Oh, man. So that's fashion number one for...
Dude, that gets an F from Joe. Awful fashion.
So I think the next time we see her, she's brushing her teeth with
Donald Glover,
Republican college
the black
lawyer.
College lawyer, Republican. They're brushing her teeth, and then Hannah's like, I like having sex with you. And he's like, you what? And they're like doing this stupid, like, cutesy bullshit. And then Elijah walks in. Dude.
And it's just like, man, that's way too many people in that bathroom.
Right? He's like, you're in my bathroom. So that
he's like, oh, am I not? Like, because he's throwing a little bit of shade at him for being a
Sandy.
Black Republican. And at this point, gay marriage, which is not an issue anymore, solved.
Yeah.
It's That's a joke. But it was like the hot topic of the time, and like he's definitely like gay marriage was a thing, and like he's definitely just gonna not like black college Republican lawyer.
Yeah, and they're just like kind of going at it with some tense, like, we're like, your mom and dad are Republican? And he's like, no, it's not how it works. You know, I could choose to be a Republican by myself because that's not how it works. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I just figured that, like, you know, it came up in your household. And he's like, it's kind of like terrorists. Like, you don't need to have two terrorist parents to be a terrorist. Like, you just be a terrorist.
And they just have this great back and forth. And, like, you can just see Donald Glover can just, like, play with anyone.
Yeah.
It's like, it's great.
Yeah, and then Hannah puts a stop to all the fun things that are happening.
Yeah. That is Hannah. Fun is happening around me. Stop it.
Yeah, so she's like, guys, you should not be having this conversation. This is not cool. And then that's where she's like, hey, Donald Glover. Did you get to read my essay? And he's like, I actually didn't get a chance to read that yet. I've been kind of busy. And she's like, oh, no worries.
Yeah.
And
you can see with the shots frame, you see Elijah in the back looking like,
like kind of a side eye, like,
he read it.
Not reading your essay.
No, he's like, he read it and didn't tell you. Like, you
thought that was
right away in that scene. I was like, he absolutely read it. Like, he goes, no, I haven't got a chance to. It's like the acting of lying. Like, because acting is lying, so then you have to act even more.
Yeah, you have to lie.
Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah, you have to incept the lies. So Elijah definitely knows when he hears that. Yeah.
So the next time we see Hannah, she is heading over to Jessa's apartment, and Jessa is painting a picture of shirtless Chris O'Dowd, aka Tommy John. Thomas John.
Which that name is gross.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies to any Johns out
Tommy
there.
John, wasn't that like some kind of fashion thing? Wasn't that like
Sean John, you mean?
Sean John. Never mind. Sorry.
And
I'm on my fashion bag right now, dude. I'm in it. Let's talk about the fashion here. Thomas John's shirtless, business pants, and a fedora.
Just sitting in his...
he's in like thinker pose.
Sitting on the stool, and she's painting him, and it is... this couple.
Yeah. Jessa is painting Thomas John, and looks like she's just wearing like...
She's very bohemian.
A see-through curtain.
Yeah.
She's got like underwear and then just like a shawl that's see-through. And she hates the painting that she's painting of Thomas John. And he's like, I'm sure it's great. And she's like, no, it sucks because I'm used to only painting people I hate. And I love you so much.
Oh, I almost threw up on that one.
That was rough.
That was rough.
That was rough.
But I think it's so weird that I think they're a real couple now.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
I've settled into them being together.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I really want Catherine Hahn to come back and have a flashback scene of what she told her after she said that your life could be better. Like, I feel like I need more into this. And all we get is really Hannah being like, hey, how you doing? You seem really happy. I just didn't know if you would.
You know what? I am really happy. That's the extent of her last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah, that is really the last 2 episodes.
Last 3 episodes. I mean, to be honest, at the wedding, Hannah was like, this seems crazy. She's like, this is the happiest I've ever been. Yeah. Last episode, she gets into a cab, and she's like, this is so fun.
I've never been so happy. I've never painted a happy person I love.
And then this episode, Hannah shows up while she's painting Thomas John, and Thomas John's like, oh, hey, what's up, Hannah? How's it going? You're so great. I love everything about you. You're like the best person in the world.
This character is just, like, I don't know who makes me more uncomfortable, Adam or him. Like, I am creeped out almost equally by both of these people.
Adam's definitely creeping me out more.
Adam's definitely,
especially after this
Adam's
episode.
Creepiness is something I've seen before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just waiting for that turn. Because we've seen Thomas John turn.
Yeah.
We've seen him turn on people.
Yeah.
Like, Adam, I always know that that's there.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know how far that turn can go.
Adam, it's always like bubbling beneath the surface, and you just know at any moment he could strike.
Yeah.
But Thomas John is like, where's the weirdness coming from, and where did it go? Because you were just such a dickhead the first time we saw you.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam's that like volcano that erupts like fairly frequently, and people are just used to it. And Thomas John is like that one that hasn't been dormant for like decades.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it erupts and just destroys the whole city.
Kill the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So Hannah shows up at the apartment. Thomas John's loving her. Mm-hmm. He's like, I love everything about you. You're so great. What are you even wearing? Look at this thing.
I love how you make the most out of whatever this.
Yeah. And he's like, what even is this? And Hannah says they are shorteralls.
Yeah, and it's weird because we never really get a full wide shot
to
really see it, because it's like she's got a bag on, so you don't really get to see it in a side angle, and I'm like, I don't know. It looks like
I think it was
makeshift
overalls.
Jumper.
Yeah, like a makeshift. It was like a short romper.
Yeah.
I will say I'll compliment her on her cool necklace. She had a great robot necklace. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that necklace, but the shorteralls were trash.
Yeah.
Bad. So then Thomas John is like, all right, I gotta go. I got this meeting. He's putting on his shirt. He throws his fedora, and he's like, also, I got you a gift. Puts a box up on the table, and he's like, don't open it until I leave.
And then he tosses his fedora.
Yeah. Then he leaves. The girls walk over. Hannah's like, what do you think it is? She's like, well, it's fucking Jessa. She goes, well, I did ask for a jam box for the shower. Number one, jam box.
Jam box back then was probably
fuck off.
What?
Fuck off, Jessa.
This podcast is sponsored by
Jambox from fucking.
What's the other Jambox? What's the competitor of Jambox?
Was that an actual company?
Jambox is a real thing.
Is it? Yeah, I thought it was like Boombox.
No, Boombox is what you call like one of those portable boomboxes. A Jambox is a Bluetooth speaker.
See, I thought Jambox was like what British people called a boombox, and she was just referring to some kind of like.
No, it's actually it's like
actual company. Yeah. Dude, I'm dumb.
Hey, I got Horatio Sands and Bobby Moynihan mixed up. You think
jam boxes and boom boxes?
British way to say boombox.
I don't know. They say the bin for the trash. They say flat instead of apartment. They say lift instead of elevator.
And they're carrying jam boxes around.
Jam box.
They're carrying boom boxes around in 2012.
Look, dude, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to research this after the fucking podcast.
The box is way too big for something that you would put in a shower.
For a jam box.
Yeah. And what's in it is even worse.
Yeah.
It is the worst gift that you can give anyone.
Yep. Especially as a surprise gift.
As a surprise gift, even worse, but as a gift in general, it's a terrible idea. Don't do this, people. And don't do it in this quantity.
Yeah.
It is a box with 3 puppies in it. Like, how long that box has been sitting there.
That's what I was going to say!
How they haven't rustled around.
How did you hear bark? Like, how long was that box there? She was painting him for... That painting was almost done.
It wasn't like he went outside and like went to a neighbor's and picked it up or anything. Like,
no.
It's just a box of... That's what I'm saying. This dude is creepy.
Thomas John is abusing animals, bro. This is creepy. Did he like cut their vocal cords or something? Like, what's going on with the puppies?
Like, you would just hear them moving around and Jessa would be like, what is that? Oh, it's nothing. Like, what?
You know... What's even crazier is it's 3 different puppy breeds.
Yeah,
it's not like just 3 puppies. There's a Chihuahua. There's like fucking I don't know, dogs. Yeah. There's just 3 different breeds of puppies.
Yeah,
and it's so weird.
Yeah,
and they're all like,
"Wow, puppies!" I'm like, you know, you have to walk puppies right now,
bro. We're never gonna see those puppies again.
Like, I was wondering, like. Because I know there's such things as like puppy parties, and people can like rent puppies to bring to the office, and like they'll run around the office for a day, and then they're done.
That'd be cool.
Like, yeah, I mean,
that'd be a good present surprise.
Yeah, that's. I think they did that for a former coworker of mine. I wasn't working at the place anymore, but they did like a puppy party before going away.
Yeah.
So it's like, sure, that's fine, but like, is she now in charge of these 3 puppies forever? Like, if you give someone a puppy, you just gifted them. Like
a 15-year responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
So then they go to the park with the puppies.
Yeah.
They're just having a good time. Jess is like, I think I'll call this one Garbage. And I'll call this one Fucker.
And
like, what?
Did she fuck her or pucker? Either way.
Whatever.
And then Hannah's like, I'm going to call this one Monica. She's like.
I thought it was Hanukkah.
I thought it was Monica. I think that makes...
I'm pretty sure it was Hanukkah.
Either way, Jess was like, okay.
Because wasn't Lena Dunham's actual dog named Hanukkah or something?
Oh, I don't know. That's a deep cut. I have no idea. I know nothing about
she got
Lena Dunham's pet status.
Here we go. This is a side story about Lena Dunham, the human.
Yeah, we haven't dove into too many of these. We were waiting to get a little further into the show before we went down that rabbit hole.
So Lena Dunham kind of got in trouble because she had this dog that she adopted. It was a rescue, and she was all about it and all this shit. And she was posting about it on her Instagram all the time. And then after, I think it was a year, it was like not that long of a time, she gave the dog back. Because she was like, I can't take care of this dog anymore. It's too much for me. And people were like, are you fucking serious, dude? You rescued this dog and now you're giving it back? She's like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
People were pissed at her about that. I don't fault her for that.
I don't fault her for that much. I mean, I can see why extreme pet owners and dog lovers would be a little miffed about that. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's better for her to like give the dog another home than
it's
to
better
like,
for her. It's better for the dog because if she's overwhelmed with her responsibility and she's like, oh, I found out that I can't do this. Yeah, it's better to give the dog back than to just keep trying. Yeah, or failing at raising the dog.
And I feel like I don't know how she did the like news of this, but like if she's like not just like, oh, I just put it back in a shelter as opposed to like, oh, I found it a new home.
I think
like that's fine because people do that all the time. Like people move, people go across like to different places, and like they can't take their dog with them. Like
I honestly think that she wrote an essay about it, about how much she's gonna miss the dog. And then people were like, "Wait, I thought you loved this dog. I thought you just rescued this dog." It might have been less than a year. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember the time frame, but she was all about this dog. Then a short time passed. She gave the dog back. Yeah, and wrote an essay about how she couldn't take care of it, and the people were like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I mean, I feel like that's like light on the low on the
Lena Dunham scandal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's a scandalous thing that she did. She took Hanukkah or Monica, put the dog in her shirt between her tits, which I was like, gross.
Like, I don't know why she did it.
It was funny. Yeah. But like it was just like it was a funny visual.
I could feel you like shaking your head and rolling your eyes.
Yeah, I was just like, why are you?
But Jessa has like a really nice line. Like she's like, "Oh, you like happy and everything," and it's like, "I thought because of short wedding, it would be like I don't know how you do it." And she's like, "That's your problem. You overthink things." Yeah.
She's basically like, "This is what the end of the road looks like. Yeah. I'm happy about it." Yeah. And then Hannah just starts spewing about her life. She's like, "Yeah, well, Sandy's cool, and he's a black college lawyer Republican." And then Jessa's like, who cares if he's a Republican?
Well, it goes into... Is that what happened before she started talking about the writing?
No, this is what happens. Yeah. Hannah says, yeah, but he's a Republican. And then Jessa's like, who cares if he's a Republican? You know, they're all politicians are dirtbags. Yeah. Fair point. And then she says some bullshit about their zodiac. They're like, your rising signs are matching, so that's good news. And then she's like, yeah, and he's so supportive of me. He's supportive of my art. Like, I sent him one of my essays, and he's really excited to read it. Yeah. And then Jess is like, wait, he hasn't read it yet? And she's like, no, but it's only been like 4 days. And she's like, Jessica goes, that's bullshit. He should have read your shit by now. That's way too long. She's like, well, he's busy with the black college lawyer stuff. And Jess is like, no, if he really liked you and cared about you, he would have read it by now. Yeah. And that's when...
He says Thomas John looks at my paintings immediately when I'm finished with them.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, fair point.
Yeah, no, and Jessa's making a real valid point that, like, Hannah just can't see that.
This is why obvious. I'm saying Jess is climbing the likability rankings for me.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that she was going to be that person that kind of delivers those, like, hard truths at times. Yeah. But it's sometimes, like, she's just, like, a mess. But now, as much as I don't like Thomas Jane is a character. Thomas John is a character. Thomas Jane is an actor.
Yeah, fine actor. Here's the Punisher.
Yeah, fine actor. Check out The Mist.
He was in The Mist. He was in a TV show too. But he was the original Punisher. Yeah, that movie sucked.
Yeah, and but yeah, so she brings that up, and then she's like, "I think I'm gonna go confront him about this."
Yep. Smash cut
to them making out on the couch at his place.
And then they're smooching hard, man. They're smooching hard. Donald Glover's going at it. Sandy, the black college lawyer, according to Wikipedia. And then Hannah, in the middle of making out, is like, hey, did you get a chance to read that thing? And he's like, oh, no, I haven't, actually.
Yeah.
And she's like, And then they keep trying to make out, and she's like, I just feel like you should have been able to read it by now if you really liked me and cared about me.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while and you haven't read it, so what's the deal? And then he's like, okay.
And I love this moment with him. Yeah.
I did read it. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's interesting. Because I wrote it for everybody. It's for everybody. So what makes this not for you? He's like, I don't know, man. It's here. And she's like, no, let's open up a dialogue.
Well, he's like, this is why I didn't want to bring it up, because now I knew things would get weird. And now look at you, you're getting weird. She's like, oh, I'm not getting weird. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's just you didn't like it. Like everybody else loved it. So it's like interesting to hear. And I'd like to hear what you didn't like about it, because this opens up a dialogue and helps me become a stronger writer. So what didn't you like about it?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, it was really well written. And she's like, I don't care about that. Everybody tells me that. I know that's true. What didn't you like about it?
I know. And you're like, wow.
And you're like,
oh, boy.
And he's like, I don't know. I feel like nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Which
he had a great line about, like, it just felt like the stuff that goes through your head when you're waiting in line.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it felt probably like a free form. Like,
it felt like this show, kind of.
Yeah. At least we have a little structure.
Yeah,
you know?
there's a little bit. There's stuff going on in the show. That was a cheap shot. But you know, that would be the criticism of the show, is that there's be like, it feels like nothing happens. Like some of the episodes, nothing does happen. I feel like, but that was an unfair shot at this show.
Not really, if you go back to how we opened this show.
Yeah. Anyway, he's like, I just feel like nothing really happened. It feels like, you know, it's just thoughts that you have when you're in line at the grocery store. And then Hannah's like, oh yeah, nothing really happened, huh? Like a girl finding her sexual exploration and blah, blah, blah. And she's opening herself up to new possibilities and new ideas. And he's like, see, this is why I didn't want to talk about this.
I didn't want to talk about it.
You're being weird about this. She's like, no, I wanted to open up a dialogue. Like, let's open up a dialogue about this, about how you're a Republican and you're around me and my gay roommate, and you don't think that he should have a beautiful wedding like all the weddings that we saw on You Say Yes to the Dress. And he's like, well, here we go.
Yeah,
Let's
he's like, you're only bringing this up because I didn't like the thing that the essay that you wrote.
And she's like, no, that's not it. It's just like, I don't know how you can justify that everybody should have guns.
Yeah.
Just have guns. And he's like, it's more complicated than that. And she's like, no, it doesn't seem like it is.
And then she's like, did you know 2 out of 3 black guys, or like some statistic or false
2 out of 3 men on death row are black men.
Yeah.
And he's like, great.
Right.
Thank you for that knowledge. I really didn't know that. And she's like, I don't know if you're being sarcastic. And he's like, I am.
And the thing about her asking that question is like, is she being sarcastic asking that question?
Yeah.
Because it's like, obviously he's not.
He just like slams it back to real world. Like, I am being sarcastic.
Yeah. And like his performance in this is like amazing. Like,
it's so good.
Their back and forth is great. Like, I kind of wish he was on a little longer. I feel like they've used up his purpose, but like their back and forth is good. Like watching them, and they're 2 writers in themselves that like are tours, you know, like do their own thing. So like seeing them like go back and forth is really great.
Yeah, and then wait, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's a death row thing.
The death row thing, and then he's basically just like, this always happens with fucking white girls. They're like, oh, I want to have sex with a black guy, and then they find out about who I really am, and they can't handle it.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah.
Maybe you're fetishizing white women. And
yeah, because it seems like you know a lot about these white girls that want to have sex with black guys. And he's like, get out.
I don't know if this is where she drops a Missy Elliott line. While she's like going on her rant. And he's like, you just quoted Missy Elliott. She goes, I don't even know who that is. And he's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Like she said, flip it and reverse it. And like somehow. Like,
she did say flip it and reverse it, yeah.
And you're like, what are you talking about? You don't know who she is. And his frustration in this scene, it's just like, it just elevates and starts mounting, and it's so great.
And I love the end of it where he's just like, okay, you need to get out, you need to leave.
Yeah.
And she's like,
He won't
okay,
even look at her.
Fine, I will. And then she goes, do you still want to have sex? And he's like, no. And she's like, me neither, but I wanted to make sure you didn't have blue balls, which I also think isn't real.
Oh, because the reason he... So that part all reminds me of when she tried to, like, have sex with her boss at one point, and, like, he said no, he didn't want to have sex with her, and she's like, well, I don't want to have sex with you either. I'm just trying to do this. Like, that kind of had shades of that scene.
Yeah.
But the reason that he, like, drew the line was when she was like, I don't even see color.
Oh, yeah, she gave her I don't see color speech.
Yeah.
I only said... He was like, you just brought up the death row thing with the black guys. She says, I said black guys. Wasn't thinking of you. I was like,
because I don't even think of you. I don't even think of you as black. I don't see that in my world. He's like, you should see that. Yeah. I am black. Like, yeah. It's just like that classic, like, she's trying to be so woke that it's backwards.
Yeah. It's so dumb, dude.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's Hannah's character, though. She's so self-involved that I feel like she probably... Like, no, she sees him as black. She knows it. Yeah. But, like, it's all about her. Like, it's an essay and, like...
I need to bring up, this is one of my favorite jokes of all time. Mm-hmm. This comedian, his name is Mark Normand. He's one of my favorite comics. He's so fucking good. He has this bit, this is a really old bit, and it's like, he's done it on Conan and stuff, but he has this bit, he's like, people are really concerned about, like, racism. It's, like, really weird these days. Like, I had this job where I was talking to a guy, I was like, hey... what's that guy's name, the really tall black guy? And then my coworker was like, whoa, I don't see color. He's like, really? Did you just say that? And so I said to him, it's okay. I'm black. He goes, no, you're not. He's like, aha. Yeah. You might not be racist, but you are a liar. I fucking love that joke. That joke is one of the smartest jokes I think I've ever heard.
Yeah. Because it just shows, it's like, yeah, you know the difference.
Yeah.
Like, the I don't see color thing is like...
I'm black.
Like, I get the sentiment of it, but don't.
So he kicks her out. God, the show. This is wearing on me, dude.
No, I mean,
There's just so much going on.
Yeah. So he kicks her out, and that's when she goes back, and that's when she's arriving with Marnie as Elijah's leaving.
Yeah. And then they give the whole pretty person talk. Yeah. Pretty person job talk.
And I don't think anything else really comes out of that.
Yeah, she eats a Cool Whip, and then next time we see her, she's YouTubing how to cut your own bangs. And she's
she's cutting her hair in bed. Yeah. Like watching a YouTube video. And I think she's already been cutting her hair. Her hair
it looked like she had a mohawk or something.
Yeah, now it's like, and like she's got like a long strand, like long bangs coming down. And she's like about to cut it and like watching this YouTube video.
And then she gets a text from Adam.
Oh boy.
He says, hey, I'm downstairs. She's like, oh fuck. She looks out her window, doesn't see him, shuts her lights off. Adam texts her, I saw you shut your lights off.
I was like, classic Adam, even in text.
Yeah. And then she's just like laying in bed, kind of like freaking out, and she's like, Adam?
It's like it has a horror movie feel at this point.
Yeah, it's like there's a ghost dark in her apartment.
Yeah, because you start hearing sounds in the apartment, and you don't know if Elijah's coming home
or if Marnie comes back or whatever. And then out of nowhere, Adam jumps into her door frame. He's like,
yeah,
we rewinded it to see what he said. All I heard was like, thank God. I think he might have said, I have a key.
Yeah, I don't know what he said, but it was a jump scare in that doorway.
Like, yeah, and then Hannah's like, ah! Yeah. As you would.
Yeah.
Because that's fucking frightening.
And Adam Driver's a big guy.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge. He's strong.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what are you doing here? Do not be here. I don't want you to be here. And Adam is just kind of like, can I have some milk?
And she's like, are you for real?
He's like, are you for real? He's like, yeah, kind of, yeah. She's like, okay, but after I give you this milk, you have to leave. And he goes, I'll leave when I'm done. I was like, dude, this is...
That had murder, rape vibes.
Yeah, like, this is getting real bad, dude.
Yeah.
So she gives him the milk. He, like, chugs it. And then he stands up and he's like, look, I can't stand for this. This is an insult to my manhood. I need to get you back, basically. He's like, and if I don't fight for this, it's an insult to my manhood. It's an insult to my morals. It's an insult to my standing as a human being.
And he says, I'm living my man life.
Yeah. And then he's like, so I'm going to win you back. And then he like leans in to try and kiss her, and she's pulling away. And then he just gives her like the weirdest peck on the cheek.
Yeah. But before that, she goes to the fridge to get the milk. And
Right.
at
Oh,
the
that was
fridge,
integral.
And
Yes.
at the fridge, she like pulls out her phone and she like dials 911. And
I was surprised that she did that.
Yeah, I thought she was going to text a friend and
That's
say,
what I thought.
if you don't hear back from me in like 5 minutes, call the cops or get over here or something. Like,
Yeah,
Adam's
text
here.
Marnie like, hey, come back, Adam's here.
Yeah, or something like just to put a warning out, like this
Yeah.
is if something goes wrong, this person was involved in it.
But instead, she calls 911.
She calls and then hangs up.
Hangs up. Sorry, I forgot that.
Yeah.
That's a very important part.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah, I'm here for you, Joe.
Thanks, man. That's why there's two of us. Just the two of us.
You would have got to it eventually.
We are boys watching girls. Anywho. So he tries to kiss her. It's awful. And he's just like being like such a stalker.
I mean,
he's
it
like,
is- oh man, it is awful.
she's like, get out of my apartment. I don't like you being here. He's like, well, I have a key, so I'll show up whenever I want. She's like, I gave you that key when we were dating. We're not dating, and I don't want you here. And he's like, maybe I'll show up tomorrow.
And he's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
And she's like, no. Then she starts chasing him, and he's just like laughing maniacally
As they do a ring around the posy on the
around the table.
Yeah.
And then she finally catches up to him, and she's like shoving him. She's like, get out, get out.
I had never
don't
been
want
so
you
scared
here.
for her.
Yeah.
I had never been so scared. Like, she's pushing, and she's, like, so much smaller than him, and she's leaning all of her body weight to push him. And, like, it's not really making any effort, but his demeanor is changing. Like, he was running around like, this is funny, dumb.
Yeah.
To, like, now getting real sad while he's being pushed.
Well, this is where I was like, Hannah, you're standing up for yourself. This is great.
But I was like, this is not the time.
Well,
for me, I was like, he was leaving. For me, it was like he was walking out the door. He's like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow. And she got up and was like chased after him. Like, no, you don't. I won't want you to come back. At that point, I'm like, he's leaving. Just let him leave.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. We're not women in this situation, but I just feel like her pushing and provoking him in that state was like dangerous thing to do. Like for me, if I'm her, I just want him out of the apartment for that night, and I'll deal with that. I'll deal with like changing the locks
tomorrow
and do a bunch of stuff and like get the restraining, do something after. But like for that one instant moment of that night, I want this person out of my apartment.
Yeah.
And he was leaving, and I was like, just let him leave. And before he leaves, she's like, no, you can't, blah, blah, blah. And she's like provoking this person that's like completely unstable.
Yeah.
Like, and she's pushing him, and when she's pushing him, I'm like, oh my God.
See, I had a completely different read of it. When she started pushing him, I was like, good for you, Hannah. Get this fucking guy out of here. Like, he's being
But he was
threatening.
leaving.
He's being threatening, and like...
But he was leaving, you know, like what did she want from that situation? For him to say, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back?
Yeah, I think that she wanted him to realize, like, I don't want you here, and so, like, I'm going to start pushing you and, like, get out.
Yeah.
I don't like this, and I don't like you, and it's fucked up what you're doing to me. And I think that you could see that register in Adam.
Yeah.
And where he's just like...
But she's also said this to him before.
But she hasn't had to push him before. Like
I mean,
that.
when she broke up with him in the last episode, she was like, I don't want to ever see you again. And, like, he had to limp back to his couch. Like, she, like, legitimately broke up with him.
I think it's
like,
different, though, when you take it to a physical level of, like,
but that's what I'm saying.
How mad I am.
I get that, but, like, I don't think she should have taken it to a physical level with this person who, in the beginning of the episode, we were talking about if he will murder you.
Yeah,
and
that's
who was
true.
just who had just come into your apartment in the middle of the night. You think, like, just shoving him, he'll be like, oh, she really doesn't want... Like, I don't think it will seep into him. For me, I'm just get the threat out of my apartment. Standing up for yourself, fine, I get that. But, like, if he was, like, advancing on her, she was pushing back, but he was leaving. And she just brought his antagonism back. Like, he could have done anything at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a cornered animal. Like, I was waiting for him to lash out, and I was like, oh, I don't want to see him get this.
Yeah, I didn't want to see it. I had a girl break into my apartment that I tried to break up with. I took all of her stuff from my apartment that was hers, and
she
left
did, like,
it.
all the leave-behinds?
Yeah, and
Or were you guys dating for a while? Or?
We were dating for a while.
Okay.
I put all her leave behinds in a box. Went to her apartment, rang her doorbell.
Box full of puppies.
Box full of puppies. Yeah, I gave her 3 puppies back that she was hiding under my bed for months. I put all this shit into a box. I ran to her apartment, rang her doorbell, left the box there, and just left. And then, like, an hour and a half later, she just showed up in my apartment, and like, because my she didn't have a key, but my door didn't always close all the way. So she just like walked into my like the front gate and then walked into my apartment door and then came into my room and she was just like, no, you're not breaking up with me. And
how scary was that? So you're Hannah
here's
in
the
this
thing.
situation.
I was Hannah in this situation, but
and she was demonstrably bigger than you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a much larger person than most, if not most women. I would say like 90
because you're dating the wrong women, Joe.
I will say. It was a little scary that she broke in.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome that she was like, that hell-bent about like, no, we need to keep dating or whatever. But I was powerless because I couldn't like physically remove her from my house.
No. You're in an awful situation.
Yeah.
Because if anything happens, the blame is
like
going to be on you.
2 a.m. We were just like, I was screaming at her, like, get out.
This
dude.
isn't the girls' world where you can like chase after Shoshana on the empty street.
Yeah,
just
dude.
Screaming.
Yeah.
That I'm your crack angel.
But I folded and we ended up dating for like a couple more months.
Oh, no. This is not the lesson to take from that story.
Well, no, I saw this happening with Hannah and I was like, I've been in this situation before.
Well, before he left, it looked like they had a little moment. And then he was starting to walk out. And we'll get back to the show, but I want to follow up with your real life dating situation. How did you break up with her the second time?
I don't remember.
What?
I mean, we were on and off. We had a lot of problems going on.
Yeah, no shit.
It was pretty awesome. It does feel cool that someone would like break the law to be with you, though.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Hannah. That's
the
fact that you find that like not just like that you need that esteem.
But
push,
I'm not
though?
scary. I mean, it wasn't scary because it was her breaking in, and I could have like
never seen like
subdued
Fatal
her.
Attraction or any of those movies.
Yeah, no.
Like,
sometimes
like
I get a little worried about that kind of stuff.
Like,
dude, I don't know what happens when I date women, but they get crazy.
I guess it's
You've experienced that. I've told you about that kind of shit.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I wouldn't find it flattering.
Especially,
it would scare me
remember
more.
when we saw John Wick 3 and I told you like the entire story of that one relationship I was in and you were just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, that was not why I wanted to go see John Wick 3. I want to see some people getting shot.
It was funny because you like asked me just like, hey, how's blah blah blah, and I just went on this like half-hour story time.
I'm like, oh, why did we show up at this movie early? They want us to turn the phones off.
It's like, no, dude, Maria Menounos is still talking. We're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has been Joe's relationship corner.
You know what's funny is the girl that broke into my apartment, I still think of her as like the one that got away.
Oh my God. You are damaged goods, Joe.
Yeah, dude. I'm Hannah.
You are damaged goods, yeah.
Because Hannah eventually does get Adam out of the apartment and he's leaving and then she's like, wait, Adam?
Yeah.
And then he comes back and she's just like looking at him all doe-eyed and I was like,
I know, and at that
Hannah,
moment I was
weak
like,
piece of garbage. And then I was like, wait, I'm the weak
you're
piece
the
of
weak
garbage.
piece of garbage. You're Hannah.
Yeah, dude.
So basically your lesson from this is stalk people. They'll give in.
Yeah, basically.
Eventually.
It's pretty cool. Have you never had anyone stalk you?
I've had some people. Oh man,
I've had several people like stalk me.
I've had some people that are kind of a little obsessed with me, but not in a way where I was like terrified for my like. I would have been terrified for my safety in that situation, or like anything can happen.
You know what sucks though about like my situation is like I'm a comic and I'm I have shows. I'm like posting where I'm going to be all the time, so people could just fucking show up. Mm-hmm. That's the scary part to me. Like when people do get like
scarier
that,
than not having a lock on your door and someone just being able to walk in. She knows where you live.
Yeah, I mean,
she could have been at your place when you got home.
It was in Astoria. We were safe. It was not in a bad neighborhood.
Astoria is still New York.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was bad.
That's why most horror movies take place in like, busy cities and not isolated like.
I'm telling you right now, Vance, if that
Nowhere
girl
safe.
showed up at my door right now, I'd go out with her again.
Oh my God, she might listen to this podcast.
There's no way she's gonna listen to this podcast.
She stalked you enough to come. Okay.
Yeah, she got a new boyfriend,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and he's uglier than me.
All right. Well, she knows who she is.
Yeah.
And you know who she is, and I don't. But all right. So anyway,
Couple
they're
people know who she
doe-eyed
is.
together. Back to Hannah and Adam. I hate learning about you, Joe.
Yeah.
Back to Hannah and Adam.
Before this podcast, I think you said you love learning about me.
No, I said I no. What we talked about before this podcast, I also said I hate learning about you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I talked about how I cook chicken. It's stupid. It's a dumb way. Vance told me a much better way, and I was like, no, it's dumb.
It's just not time efficient.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hannah's
Slow cooker chicken. Sorry, everybody.
slow cooker chicken's fine.
It tastes good.
Yeah. But if you're just cooking 5 chicken breasts, you don't need to cook them for 6 hours. That was my point.
That's what the YouTube buff dudes tell me to do.
Oh my God, your meal prep sites.
Yeah.
Yep. You can still cook it in the oven. Anyway.
Yeah. I'll try it.
Okay.
We're really off
We're
topic here.
really off the. We're
But
so
that's
close
why-
to the end.
Yeah, we're
so
really
close
close.
to the end. Like
That's what people listen to. They like us, Vance.
if they like the banner, they might have stuck through the beginning when we
They
rambled.
like us. They care about it. If you like us, tweet us.
Tweet us or email.
Email dating. No, dating is hard. God damn, I don't even know
Oh,
what
you're
podcast I'm
plugging your
talking
other
about anymore.
podcasts?
Well, we're talking about dating stuff. I got the Dating is Hard
Oh my God.
skateboard right here. Dating is Hard podcast. Check that one out. Give it a 5-star review. Subscribe. But you can
But if you have
Gmail
feedback
us.
or if you want to talk
If
about
you like our
stalkers or anything,
banter, email BoysWatchingGirlsPodcast@gmail.com. We got a fucking email.
yeah, check it out. It'll be in the show notes. So yeah.
Yeah.
But so let's like wrap up this episode because we're so close to the end.
We're so close.
All right, so they're staring at each other doe-eyed,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh no, what is happening here? Like, and I was waiting if he's going to give the key back, and he's not.
That's what I was thinking.
And he's not giving the key back, and he's like, I'll see you tomorrow, and she calls him back, doe-eyed, and then someone goes, Hannah Horvath or whatever her name, like
Horvath.
yeah. So and he's like, what? You got a guy coming over?
Yeah. He's like, what is this, a boy?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good Adam. What is this, a boy?
Yeah, you got it.
And she's like, no, I don't know what's going on. They go to the stairwell.
And I was like, please don't be Donald Glover.
That's what I was
like,
thinking.
please don't be Donald Glover.
worse, it's the cops.
I was still relieved.
Yeah, the cops show up because Hannah called 911, and they were like, we have to show up to every phone call, and you called 911. And she's like, no, I didn't. And they're like, no, Hannah Horvath, we're just here because you definitely called 911. We need to check in on what's going on.
I got a question. Does your
As a safety
phone, is
precaution.
your 911? I guess because I know in phones you can put like your address in your emergency
Yeah.
calling thing. So like, would that automatically happen if you call from a cell phone?
Yeah,
And,
I don't
like,
think
no-
that's true.
Yeah.
I think this was some made up
And like,
TV
how they get through
magic.
the front, because they live in an apartment, so how did they get through that front door to get
Yeah.
in? I was wondering that when she called the cops. I'm like,
Maybe they don't
might
have a lock like the little
Yeah.
girl that broke into my apartment.
But we know they do because in the last episode they kicked out
George couldn't come back
and he couldn't
in.
get back in. That's a real nitpick, but whatever. That doesn't really matter. So yeah, they're going on and they're talking. And she's like, we got to take you downtown for a statement. She's like, no, I just called and hung up. And
Yeah, Adam's like, you
pissed
really
off.
fucking called the cops on me?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you're stalking me. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm not fucking stalking you. I have a key.
And he's like, I just wanted to get a restraining order on him. And he's like, no, I want a restraining order on her.
Yeah.
And then like, what's your name, sir? And she's like, you don't have to give it. And he's like, I'll give it. It's Adam, whatever his last name is.
Stuckley? What? What is it? It's something like S.
Yeah.
Now I need to fucking find out.
I was going to drive you crazy.
It's going to drive me insane.
You didn't know if Allison Williams was her name, but this is what breaks you. So anyway, like he gives the name and the cops are looking it up and they type it in the system and apparently he has 2 outstanding tickets and a failure to show up for a public urination thing. And so they are arresting him and they put him in handcuffs. Mm-hmm. And he's just like screaming and saying, I'm crazy. And they're saying, you got the right to remain silent. He's like, what if I don't want to? And he just starts rambling.
He's like, I don't want to. What if I don't want to? Because I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
And Hannah's
I'm
like,
like,
no,
wow.
what? She's like standing standing at the top of the stairwell, like, oh, where are you taking him? Because I might come. I might come.
Yeah, she just keeps going, well, are you going to tell me where you're taking him? Because I might come. I'll come.
And
that's kind of how it ends.
And that's the episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
Its last name really doesn't matter.
It's like Suckley or something.
Doesn't.
Suckley.
Email us his last name. Thanks.
Yeah, email us. Get the emails rolling, everybody. What's Adam's last name? BoysWatchingGirlsPodcast at gmail.com.
Okay. So yeah, that's the episode. Should we rank the girls real quick?
Oh yes, ranking the girls. Number 1 for me, Shoshana. Number 2 for me. This is a toss-up. This is a flip of a coin.
No, it's easy for me.
I'll say Jessa number 2, Marnie number 3, Hannah number 4.
Yeah.
Same
absolutely.
ranking?
Yeah. And Jessa and Marnie are closer because they don't really do...
Marnie didn't do anything to piss me off in this episode.
And she's
pretty funny.
She's looking for work. She's got a job as a hostess, which I think will be rife for entertaining situations.
Someone is going to grab her ass at this job. Someone's going to fucking do something weird.
We've already had like ass grabbing with Hannah at work.
Ass grabbing happens to women all the time at work, dude.
So, yeah, I'm just saying like
it's fucked up.
I'm just saying I don't know if Lena Dunham's going to tread through the same thing. You know? I think it'll be interesting because we might not see Marnie at work ever again.
Most likely,
we barely saw her.
Next episode, she's gonna be like, "I quit that job." Yeah. We're never gonna see her in that sexy ass outfit again.
I'm babysitting for the family that Jessa used to babysit for.
Yeah, exactly. She was a great reference.
Oh my god, if those puppies die, my goodness,
they better be rented.
I hope they're just not sticking. I'm so weirded out by the Jessa relationship. That's why I was. But Jessa threw the truth bombs down on Hannah, which is what I appreciated. When she was like, "Hey, he would have read your stuff."
Can I read to you the last sentence in this Wikipedia description of this episode?
If I say no, you're going to do it anyway, so just do it.
I mean, if you say no, I won't.
Don't do it. Is it for this episode?
For this episode.
Okay. Yeah.
So don't do it?
No, go for it. Yeah. We've watched it already. I don't care.
It says, Adam goes to worrying lengths to win Hannah back, and she goes to great lengths to keep him away by having him arrested.
Okay.
She didn't really go to great lengths. She called him back.
I mean, having to call the cops on someone is something. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, man.
I should have said, I'm sorry, listeners. I should have said no.
I mean, I could read this whole episode description in like a second. It's so short.
Yeah. We just, what do you,
no mention.
If you don't want to listen to the podcast, just go to Wikipedia and read the short story.
Guys, there is no mention of these puppies in this description. All it says about Jessa is, meanwhile, Jessa and Thomas John are happily settled into married life.
Yeah, it's a brief description. That's why we're diving in hard on the episode.
Hard.
Why are you getting mad at Wikipedia?
Because it's a bad thing.
Wikipedia is not a bad thing.
Final thoughts on this episode. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I Get Ideas is the name of this one. Final thoughts on I Get Ideas, Season 2, Episode 2.
What is the I Get Ideas in reference to?
I have no idea.
I get ideas.
I don't get
ideas.
ideas.
Get ideas. What is who gets ideas in this? All the other titles kind of lined up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
This episode's fine. I mean, it's really ruining my prediction of Marnie sleeping with Adam.
Yeah.
It's really dropping down to 10% to me.
Yeah, it's not looking good for
it's
that.
10%. But I am still championing that it happens.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, this one felt long. This one had a lot going on.
They pack a lot into these episodes.
It was fine. This was a good one.
Yeah.
More people should have watched it.
I'm a little sad that Donald Glover might not be in the next episode.
You know what? I don't really like him. Mainly because as a stand-up, I just think his stand-up is bad.
But he's more than a stand-up.
Yeah, I know. I don't really like his rap. I haven't seen Atlanta, but I don't think I'd like it. It seems really surreal.
There's some surreal stuff in it, but it's great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're just a hater.
I don't know.
You're just a hater.
I don't like his stand-up at all.
You don't have to like a stand-up.
This Is America was a good song.
And on that note, I think we should probably end
All
this.
right.
Let's see what the next episode.
All right, stick around for next episode, season 2, episode 3, titled "Bad Friend."
Oh, Marnie's gonna sleep with him.
Well, you'll have to tune in the next episode to see if that's true.
Oh, that's all gonna be about Elijah hooking up with Marnie. That's what my prediction.
Maybe, it'll be like Hannah found out.
Yeah, she's got to find out this episode.
Yeah, Bad Friend. Yeah. Well, stick around for Bad Friend. And that's it for this episode, guys. See you later.
You've gotta go. You've gotta leave right now.
I do not feel good about this conversation.
Okay, neither do I.
Do you want to have sex still?
No.